Good evening, everybody. Tonight I've got a slightly different tone that I want to take with the show, so I'm not going to start right now. Today I've had some news, and I wanted to share it with you today. This fella appearing on the screen right beside you is a really good old friend of mine named Freddie. He is a cat that has been in the family for a long, long time. Probably a good 10, 11, maybe 12 years. I can't quite remember. He sadly passed away last night, and he's been a very close friend of mine for a long time. And I just wanted to kind of, I suppose, dedicate this show tonight for my friend who is no longer with us. And it might sound a little bit silly, but those of you that have pets in your lives know how much joy they bring to you. And this guy certainly brought me bundles. It's not my pet. It's actually my father's pet, or it was actually his neighbour's pet, and decided he was just going to move in one day and has been there ever since. If you've ordered models from Purple Lion Creations or scenery or buildings or anything like that, then he has been over watching every single one of those builds in the workshop at Purple Lion Creations. And I'm going to miss Freddie very, very much. So I'm going to be right back so I can compose myself, and the show carries on, and I'll be right back with you in just one moment. So this is for Freddie. See you soon. Good evening, welcome for another show, Easy A Online Painter Club. My name's Danny, says it right at the bottom of the screen. I apologise for the different start today. I just kind of wanted to get a little message out there. We've all got pets, surely we've all got pets. They bring us a lot of joy. So yeah, just wanted to change things up a little bit and, be the nice guy. A couple of people in the comments already. Jeff Lacey, oi oi. Obviously, Freddie was your cat, and I'm going to miss him terribly. Leslie says something all in one giant line. Can't quite read it. Howdy doody do. Luke, hello. Adrian, good evening. Sorry for your loss. Thanks, man. Yeah, you're right. Not my loss. On my own, sharing that loss with everybody. And his brother Fergal. So yeah, it's a sad day. Leslie says he was a gorgeous cat, and the fact that he moved in by his own accord reminds me of most folks' cats. Most of them decided that they just liked my folks, thus moved in. Yeah, absolutely. They've got a character. I'm a cat man, but I like all animals. He's going to be sorely, sorely missed. Anyway, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for coming along. The show has to go on because that's what we do here, right? If you remember back last week, I was saying that Kyle was hopefully doing his assessment for his big career, life and whatever. I was hoping to speak to Kyle, but unfortunately because of the news that I had earlier on, I was a little bit upset and I didn't really get in contact with him. Kyle, if you're watching or you see this back on playback, like I always send you messages, I hope that it went really, really well. I'm going to try and get in contact with you over the next couple of days, see how it went, and hopefully look forward to having you back on the show. But I really do hope that went. I know it did. I know it went well. I don't even have to ask you. So yeah, best of everything going forwards for you, sir. If you're new to the show, it's not just about painting, me, watching me. It's a social club. You can come along, paint your stuff. It's a painting club. Do please chatting with us on the side over there. Let us know what it is that you're painting this evening. We've got our regular viewers. We've had a couple of new people. We've had some new likes on the Facebook channel. That's wonderful. We had a couple of new followers. One literally just before the show started a minute ago on Instagram. That's brilliant. And you can like and follow us on any of those platforms there. And of course over here on YouTube, you can subscribe to us as well. That would be really handy if you did, because it's just every little subscribe helps push us a little bit further in the right direction for making this the best community that we possibly can for you guys. So yeah, please do maybe like, follow, subscribe. That would be great. Let us know what you're up to today. Maybe take some photographs, stick them up over on Facebook, or share them in Discord, because we have a Discord too now as well. If you head on over to Facebook, or even in the description to this video somewhere down there, you will see that there is a link to the Discord channel. You can just quickly click on that and it will take you over to Discord, and you make a little profile thing, and then you get that verified. Do verify it and then come and join us. I'm going to be on for most of the night after this show today, so if you want to come on over to Discord, you can come and join me over there. I'm going to be carrying on some bits and pieces, maybe cleaning some stuff, but if you want to have a chat face to face on the video, then you can, or if you just want to tippy tappy typey, that's absolutely fine with me as well. So I did some really good stuff last week on my 135th Panther. It feels like I've been doing that for a lifetime, on and off. I was doing tracks last week because some people were like, hey man, how do you do tracks? And I've kind of been trying to make my own paint recipe, or my color recipe if you like, to make tracks, and I've done them, and I was really happy with them last week. And then I put some weathering pigments on them during the week, so I've been doing a lot of work during the week, which I don't normally get the chance to, and I ruined them. I'm a little bit cross with that. I thought it was something new I hadn't done before. I had a good idea of what to do, and I think what I did is I left it on too long, and I just couldn't remove basically it just completely covered over all of the work that I'd done in the last show. So the last couple of days I've been redoing them, and I'm actually even happier with the colors that I've got on these tracks than what I started with, which is brilliant. It's amazing. So yeah, I wanted to be a bit further along in the whole process of doing tracks for this week, so I was actually hoping to kind of just get them on today, put the wheels on the tank, get the tracks on there, but I'm a little bit backtracked. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about because of this is, sometimes we make mistakes, right? Sometimes we've just got to suck that up and carry on, and don't let it bog you down and take a motivational hit or anything, because it's just going to stop you from doing the hobby that you love doing. So yeah, it's silver lining in some ways. What I've done now to repair the damage, I actually prefer the color on them. I've been looking at them on the camera as a part of the setup today, and they don't really show how nice they do look. So I hope that you like what I've done, because if you like them viewing it through the screen, then they're even better in real life. Leslie goes on to say, I'm finally finishing up my first part of the Nurgle board, as I've just not touched it for weeks. Yeah, sometimes we go through lulls, right? We got stuff, we got our lives, but what's important is that we always come back to the hobby that we love. And I lately, because I've been like success after success, even though I've had a little setback, I'm really enjoying myself. Let me take you over to the workbench and I can show you what I've been up to. So here are just the two tracks that I've done. If you're watching on Facebook, I took a couple of photos and I started to paint all the individual tread plates on these, because I wanted them to be like not polished silver, but like been worn down to the bare metal. So this is like my rusty, just kind of old metal look, which vehicles in the Second World War, out and operational, out doing operations or whatever, the metal would have got to this sort of colour and this sort of texture, if you like. And I've got like a mixture of rust colours that I was playing around with last week. I'm not going to go over them again now, waste loads of time, but if you want to see what I did last week, head on over to the last video. And then I started to highlight all these bits, and I did loads of like silver work on the inside of the tread plates where all the wheels would have been rolling across them, and I highlighted all the teeth on the inside, and they looked really cool. And then I just ruined it, so I've still got to do all that silver work on there. I don't want to do that right now because I spent all of last week doing tracks, but we are going to come back to that in a little bit. Adria says, still experimenting for my tank tracks and wheels. Yeah, you got to find that recipe. Get your wheels done, and then you get your tracks done. I'll show you my wheels in a minute, because I think I'm at the point where I'm going to be very close to putting wheels on tonight, and I'm very happy about that. So I've been doing the wheels. What I've been doing with my wheels, let me just get these ones out here. They're slightly glossy at the moment because I put gloss varnish on them to protect the layers underneath and everything I've done so far. And then I was pin washing them. So all the rivets around the outsides here, and the hub in the middle, and on the other side, all the rivets around the outside and the hub in the middle there, they've all been pin washed. I'm not really all that good at it, so they're a little bit messy, but I've tidied them up. I've put a little bit of white spirit and neatened up where I overspilled a bit. But I've also got a different colour wheel because I wanted to have a little bit of damage on it, the tank had received damage and then the crew had replaced parts of it. So I've got some primer red sections. So I've got a couple of wheels, and they're all going to be clustered together. And these have all been done with a different colour. So all of these ones are pin wash. Let me move my cup of tea out the way there. I've got my pin wash with dark yellow. Oh, bring it into shot, Danny. That will help. This is for doing dark yellow vehicles. So all the later war German colours, Dunkelgelb, this sort of colour here. So all the pin washing is done with this colour here, but it didn't show up very well on the red. In fact, it looked quite almost like a light soil colour. So I got, if you remember, my track wash, which I don't really know where this sits with my colour recipes, but this is the colour I used on these, and they've come out really, really well. They're not in your face, they don't it's not like a striking contrast, but it's enough to really set the red off there and to really bring out the definition. I've got a little cat hair there. Out of solidarity, my cat has been following me around all day and was in the studio, sat under the chair, just shedding fur everywhere. She's now having her dinner. Yeah, so I've got two different colours of wheels. I've got three different types of wheels. I've got this double set here, and these ones, when they're in the track, sorry, they go between the teeth here. And then I've got the outer hubs, so the ones that have got like these little sticks, the shafts, if you like, only go halfway through. These go on the outside of the track teeth here, and then I've got these ones which the little sticks go all the way through. These are the interior wheels, and these go on the inside. So there are three contact points on these tracks where these wheels touch, and what I was trying to do with the tracks was to put the worn metal, because that's what would have happened. I know that they're still rubber, but with the weight and the constant use, they would have worn them down to not an ultra polished steel look, not like the treads on the outside, but it still would have been burnished. And that's what, if you remember back at the end of last week, I got quite confused reading what Darren was trying to tell me, because it was at the end of the show and I was trying to end the show. But he was trying to say, don't forget where the tyres rub. It doesn't matter if they were rubber tyres or if they were steel rimmed wheels, they still would have worn the tracks down. So unless there's loads and loads of mud or dirt or whatever getting on there, then that will still be exposed, and the teeth would have also had a little bit on them. So I've done all of these. I've just finished them this afternoon, just finishing off the last few because there's so many wheels that it took me ages to do them. I'm going to give these a matte spray because I want to dull off that glossy shine on them, but I also want to protect the pin washing on them, on all of them, so like all the different colours here. Even though it's so very, very subtle, it's added so much detail. It's just really, really defined all of these rivets and all the hubs, and it's definitely something that you don't want to miss out. So definitely do pin wash your vehicles. There's a lot to do on them though. So I'm going to matte varnish those now, and then I'm going to start playing around with some streaking grime, and I'm going to, on the hull of my tank here, I'm going to put streaking grime all the way underneath here, and I'm going to be quite heavy with it. I might even step up and put it through the airbrush, or I might just slap it on, and then I'm going to just kind of wash it down, because under here it's all going to be grimy. I'm not going to go mental with it. I still want the colour to show through, but obviously this is where it's all going to be, right? This is where all the grime is going to be, under there behind the tracks, and then I can start putting all the wheels on in place. With the coloured wheels then, what I wanted to do, because I've also got the side skirts here, I've got one of the plates has also been kind of coloured red. I've still yet to pin wash between all of these. But what's going to happen with these ones here is I'm going to, I think it's on this side. They do have a very specific side, but it doesn't matter right now. So the side skirts are going to go on here. I think it does go on the other side, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Let's go to this side. Why not? No, it does. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so confused. So these side skirts sit over the tops. It protects the tops of the tracks and the wheels from as much possible damage, that often referred to as bazooka plates. But the idea is that I was going to have a cluster of red wheels down in one corner here to make it look like there was some damage here that has been replaced by, you know, the crew. And I'm also going to probably cut one or two of them out to make it look like they're missing some, just to add a little bit of character. And because they're going to be covering up a lot of the top of the tracks and the wheeled areas, it's going to kind of just show a little bit of that detail. But that's a job for later on, because I've got to get a little micro saw and cut out the ones that I want to. I'm also really happy with the rendering on here with the pre-shading and things. I think it all looks really, really nice. And I made my own colour red, if you remember a few episodes ago. Oh, just throw that across the room, why not? So that's where we're at with that. That rhymes, that's great. So first things first, I think, is matte spray. I also want to matte spray these just to give them a layer of protection, and then once I've got all the wheels sorted out, I've done all the grime or whatever, I can start. I'm going to dry brush all these. I did painstakingly detail every single one with a silver stripe. It took ages. It took 2 days to do it, and that's what you saw me on Facebook doing. However, because I don't want to exist through that again, I might get like a fine brush here. And one of the things I was going to talk about today is dry brushing and the different ways that we can apply dry brushing. So you can obviously do it all over the whole thing, but with this narrow brush here, this is one of the Citadel base brushes, the large one, is I'm going to see if I can just kind of like do like accurate dry brushing and just kind of dry brush that one thing there, knowing that if a little bit of silver goes off, you know, in between the tracks or whatever, that's not so bad. But if it's really, really difficult or not giving me the effect I want, then I'm just going to have to, you know, bite the bullet and go back to what I'd done last time. Where this really shines is on this side here, because I was able to just basically get some silver paint on my brush, not go to the lengths of dry brushing, but control it, you know, get a little bit of it off, and then I was just able to kind of run the brush over these areas, and then I was just able to turn it to the side and then just do the teeth, and it looked really, really good. I was actually happier with this side of the silver than I was on this side. So maybe the dry brushing technique tonight is going to be what I need, but the colours on these tracks have just come out so well. I hope the camera really shows it off. It's bring my light a little bit closer. Really, really orangey. I remember some people getting quite excited about the colour last week, and this is just a mixture of my two rust colours that I've got with the enamel paints, and it worked out really wonderfully. Really wonderfully, is that the right way to say that? Anyway, let's move on with our lives. I've got a lot of pieces of paper that have all got lots of horrible colours on them, so I'm going to bring out my clear piece of paper. It's quite blinding on the lights, and I'm going to take a sip of tea because I've talked a lot today to hide the emotions beneath. That is an epic cup of tea. Right, so I have 3 different types of varnish. These are all for the airbrush or by brush, gloss, satin and matte. They all have their places. Today is just for a little bit of matte because I just want to tone everything down and protect everything. I've also been finding a nice little recipe like for my mixtures, my flow improver and airbrush thinner. I haven't yet bought any of the what do you call it, the not flow improver, come on Danny, think, paint retarder. I haven't bought any yet, but I will do. But at the moment, this is really working for me, especially that I'm spraying in small stints at the moment. The paint retarder is going to really help me for doing like larger projects, like, you know, blocks of colours, etc. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give my matte varnish a really good shake. I haven't actually cleaned the airbrush up properly for a couple of weeks, but I think I've been doing it thoroughly enough on the go that it's actually been working all right. So hopefully, no issues today. A little bit of dirt on the back of my mug. Wonder where that came from. Okay, so I'm expecting to have to do quite a bit of varnishing. So I'm going to put in a good third of the hopper's worth there. Matte varnish. I'm really excited to be cracking on with this. Loving it at the moment. It's great. Love it when everything goes right. I put in one good drop of thinner. The nozzle on this is a bit wider than the other, so it can come out quite uncontrolled. Boop, there we go. So 1 drop of thinner to 2 drops of flow improver to about 15 or so drops of, you know, paint or whatever, you know, other thing that it is that you're putting in there. It does say on the back of the flow improver that you know, you want to have about, you know, 1 to 2 drops per 12 or 10 or something like that. But obviously everybody has their own recipe, their own way of doing things. This seems to be working well for me. It's working well for the airbrush, and I think that's the majority of this, is it's working well for the airbrush, because I get a lot of problems with it because I think I've abused it over the years. Okay, just mix it up a little bit. The varnishes are different from the acrylic paints. The varnishes are actually resin, so they behave very differently. You won't notice it by brush, really, I don't think, but you'll notice it in the airbrush, and they dry really quickly. So if you are using airbrush and, you know, varnishes, just consider that. So here we go. Just a little bit of varnishing, and in a minute what I might do is I might just like make a little mock-up of the wheels and just get them all in line, just see how it looks. I've done it before, but it's just kind of nice to see it myself again and to show you guys like the progress and how it looks with all the wheels in place. One of the harder ones to do is the drive wheel, because it's got like an under and an over and lots of details on there, but it's going to look really, really cool. When I painted all the wheels, I actually painted them with not zenithal lighting. Well, it is zenithal lighting, yeah, like with a lot, sort of a shadow in one direction and a light in the other direction. So I do actually have to line the wheels up properly. It's only going to be a problem when it actually comes to these drive wheels and the guide sprockets at the rear, because these ones will actually rotate when I put the tracks on. They're actually designed to rotate. So I've got to be careful about how I put the tracks on with that. But all the other wheels are just going to be kind of glued into place, so I can just kind of slowly glue them, make sure that they're all in the right position, and just let them set. And then when I get the tracks on with these wheels, it's making sure that the render, if you want to call it that, the shading, the pre-shading, matches the rest of the vehicle, because otherwise that could really let me down. And I think it'll be quite noticeable as well if I don't get it right. So here's the little jockey wheel. I call them a jockey wheel. I don't really know why I call them that. Their little guide wheel at the back. They were just like free spinning. Just helps keep tension on the track, I think, really. So the other wheels, all the ones with the tyres on, are just road wheels. They're the ones that have the suspension. They spread the weight out. And the bigger tanks, the German army in World War II, obviously, and World War I, they were interleaved wheels. That's the term for it, interleaved. And the idea with that was to just spread the load out, because especially later on, Panthers, Tigers, and so on and so forth, they were just so heavy. They needed to spread that load out. This one has come off a bit stick. So the way that you would spread the load out is just by having interleaved wheels, because it allows you to spread more weight out in one closer, tighter area, rather than having so many wheels in a line. That kind of essentially makes a knife edge all the way along where the wheels are all lined up. By having them all interleaved, you're basically making snowshoes for your tank. The problem with that, of course, was that they had torsion bar suspension, which just meant that there was a lot of stuff going on underneath the tank, and if you had to replace a wheel or do anything to the suspension, it was a real faff. Almost over-engineered. It took a long time. They could be quickly repaired, as were the Shermans, etc., were much easier to fix in the field. Still took a long time, I suppose. Never had to repair one myself. So onto these are the double road wheels. I also made my own recipe for my black rubber colour. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, I'm going to need to start standing these on something. I've got a big block of polystyrene here with lots of holes in, so I can just have them all standing. Wonderful. Okay, on to the next. I've actually organised my wheels into their groups. So I've got the 4 that I started with. I've got the 2 guide wheels, and I've got the 2 drive wheels, and they're like my first 4. And then I've got them into 3 groups. So I've got them in groups of like double leafed wheels, and then I've got interior wheels and then exterior wheels, and it just allows me to keep a better track on them, and I know that I've got 8 of each of those. So yeah, there's a lot. Cool. I can see that there's more comments going in. I've got the sniffles again. Maybe it's the studio. Jeff says, was looking at pics from Bovington Museum, and it seems every tank has a different colour track, so I don't think you can have a wrong colour. No, I actually agree. You're right. I think it's quite difficult to have a wrong colour. But I think it's important to have like a recipe as a painter. You probably know this yourself, doing lots of customer designs and things, is that you still have your palette, if you like. And you can mix it up and change it. You shared with me earlier on a private message a video of a Panther, I believe, being started with the winder motor at the back. It was I think a reconstruction vehicle had been restored. It's beautiful thing to see, really. And it was painted in factory colours, and the tracks were jet black, but still where the contact points are, where it touches the floor, were still bright silver. I don't know if they were ever painted, the tracks, actually during the Second World War. If they were, I should imagine they probably were painted, whatever colour they had to hand. So would it have been, if it was, for example, the Allied stuff, would it have been painted the same green as all their camo? If it was the German stuff, would it have been painted, in the whatever colour they were using at the time? Would it be the dark yellow, or would it have been, the field grey or whatever they had? It's just interesting. But perhaps black, they were going to get mucky straight away, so perhaps no one really cared too much. Getting a little bit of build up on the needle, so I just need to take my needle protector off there. There we go, just so I can dab that needle tip down. I've had to tidy up, but I should have done that. There we go. Bit of cotton here. Oh. There we go. Let's get a bit better cotton wool, a bit cleaner that one. Wonderful. I've got some more tea. It's a really good cup of tea, that is. Lovely. There we go. Just removing that glossy shine. I might have to come back over them a bit later, because I'm only giving these a light dusting with this varnish, really, and I don't mind having to come back to do them later on. It's all probably going to have another go over when I start doing grime and things like that. I'll do the grime probably on the tank. See all these bubbles appearing in my hopper? That means there's a slight blockage in there somewhere. I spoke too soon. But as this isn't a colour, it's not the biggest crisis, so it's not like a colour that's going to like spray onto other parts of a model and we're going to be like, oh no, I ruined it. Getting through them quite quickly now. I am getting a little bit concerned about that blockage. It is starting to make things a little bit difficult. It's been perfect for the last couple of weeks. It could be just the tiniest little thing in there, but we'll clean it later. It's fine. Where's my last double road wheel? So this is the red one here. It's going to be really nice actually getting all of these wheels off of these sticks. I'm really looking forward to it, and just getting them on the tank. They've been on these sticks for far too long. Right, I've got the exterior wheels. These are the ones that have the halfway hole. Is that the right way to say it? The ones that I can stand up like this. Isn't that lovely? Storing them has been very easy. The other ones can't really do it. Pop these ones over here. Oh, they've all got a bit of blue tack inside them as well to hold those sticks on. So I think the hardest bit of this is actually going to be taking all of that blue tack out and make sure I get all of it. So I'll start with the red one now. Yeah. Don't know if I got all of that. Come back to it. There we go. Now this stuff should dry pretty quickly, so by the time I've got just over halfway through all of these, I should be able to come back to some of them, and I should be able to start taking them off their sticks. That's one thing I really like about acrylic paint, is it just dries quick. I have also been using my partner's hairdryer while she was at work. Let's not tell her and steer her away from this episode. She's at work now, so she doesn't know. That really helped to speed up the drying process on the enamel, because enamel just seemed to take a really long time to dry. Whatever blockage it was seems to be moving on, which is good. Okay, getting somewhere. I think I've just run out of varnish, so a good chance just to give it a bit of a purge, make sure that we're cleaning it out. I haven't actually got an awful lot of water over here, but I'm going to give it a really good purge with neat cleaner. The cleaner I use for it is just Vallejo airbrush cleaner. I've got like a whole pot of it here, 200 milliliters, and I just often decant it out into little easier to use bottles, little dropper bottles, and I just label them neat cleaner. Try not to go mental with using neat cleaner. There's no real need for it. It's only like when you're doing big cleans or at the end of a session, kind of a clean. But I'm using lots of varnish because it dries quite quickly and quite solidly. And clearly I have a little bit of a blockage in it at the moment. It's quite good to just give it a bit of a once over, or two maybe. And if I just put a little bit in there, I'll get my mixing brush. I can just agitate what's in the bottom. Don't do that in the whole hopper, because like I said before, obviously it will just remove what's on the inside here and just put it into the paint chamber. Adrian says, by Jove, I think I've got my wheel recipe. Do share. Take some photos, stick them on Facebook, but tell us in the live chat if you have cracked it. What colours have you used? How have you applied it? And then show us photos. Right, and now I'm going to put loads of water through there, which I didn't get loads of water earlier, so whoops. What I'm going to do, because my paint paint water is recently been cleaned, I take some water from there and suck that up into the bowl. There we go. Wonderful. Clearly I haven't been thinking properly before the show. Wonderful. Just give that bit of an empty out there. Lovely. I'm just going to wipe the hopper out as well, just to make sure that nothing goes down into the paint chamber. This has become a little bit of a ritual now. It's just kind of giving it a rinse through with water or cleaner or a mixture of the two, and then it doesn't matter, you know, how much of a clean it needed. It's just kind of giving the inside of the hopper a wipe out. I would like a big one. You can get quite large ones with lids on, and I would like one of those. But I've also been looking at just getting a slightly better version of this one. I can't remember the actual name of the. It's by the same manufacturer, so it's still Harder and Steenbeck. Harder and Steinbeck. Sorry. This is the Evolution, which is a really good entry level one. It's a little bit above their bog standard, or right at the bottom line one. It is a good one. But there's another one. I can't remember what it's called right off the top of my head. Perhaps something like the Vortex, and it's got like a little nut at the back which you can use to adjust how far the trigger comes back so that you're not getting overspray. It's a little bit more expensive than this one, and I chose to get this one early doors when I was getting my first airbrush, because I thought, start from the bottom. No, I don't want to be the guy, all the gear and no idea, you know. I think I'm ready for the next step up, but they are just quite expensive, so not right now. There's a few other bits and pieces to get. Let's get some more varnish on the go. So some more matte varnish. Let me pop my lids on my cleaners. There we go. So about half a hopper, maybe a third of a hopper. There, that's good. Can't get the lid back on. And 2 drops of flow improver. Seems to really help. Excellent. And then 1 drop of thinner. And I seem to be using that with all my paint recipes and everything as well. It seems to be working. Good for me. And I suppose I could like have my own little dropper bottle with that ratio of thinner and flow improver pre-mixed, and I just kind of pour in some drops of that. But that's just more pots on the table, right? I suppose there might be some colours or mixes or whatever that actually require you just to, you know, use it in smaller amounts or slightly less of one or the other. So yeah, I'm not really all that fussed by that sort of stuff. Okay. Wash that brush off. Back to the wheels. Here we go. Oh, that's flowing better already. So probably just a little bit of something in the paint chamber or on the needle. Wonderful. Three more of the exterior ones, and then I've got the interiors to do. It doesn't take very long to do each wheel, but the Panther just has so many wheels. And I suppose this might have been like a complaint in the factories. So many wheels. Could you imagine it? I do know actually some of the problems that were encountered with the Panther and, you know, later war tanks used by the German army is that they obviously had enforced labour. You know, people who didn't ally or align with the Nazi party, so were actually sabotaging the tanks in the factory, you know, pushing cigarette ends and things into tiny little valves in the engines and whatnot, so that they would roll out of the factory absolutely fine, but a week or, you know, just a couple of days later on, actually in service, they would just fall apart or stop working, and you'd never know where. Wow, loads of comments going in. Adrian says 2 coats of Dunkelgelb, a coat of matte varnish, a coat of white spirit, a coat of brown wash for German dark yellow, this is the same one that I was using a minute ago, finally a dry brush of Dunkelgelb to highlight the raised edges. They needed the matte varnish stage to protect the first coats of Dunkelgelb, as it seemed the white spirit was causing the paint to come off in small but noticeable patches. That's quite peculiar, isn't it? Because white spirit, or thinner, like enamel thinner, shouldn't really affect acrylic layers. Likewise, acrylic thinners shouldn't really affect enamel or oil layers, but clearly in your case it is, and that might just be because that first layer beneath the matte varnish is the first layer that is attached to the plastic, and it could just be coming away with a little bit of moisture and agitation. So yeah, good move. Put a little bit of protective layer of matte varnish on. It's exactly the reason why I'm applying this on here now. I totally agree. Good move. Wonderful. Now I've run out of space on my porcupine over here, so I'm just going to take these first ones off because these are dry and they are matte. A couple of patches on there that aren't, but we'll sort that out later on. That's fine. Because once it's all together, I'll probably give it a light dusting of matte anyway, just to make sure it's all sealed, protected, so on and so forth. Now, interior wheels. These are the ones that go on the interior, obviously. It's getting a bit boring now, really. Wheel after wheel after wheel. If you're new to the show, thanks for coming along. It's not all like this. And we do have new viewers. We've had a couple of new viewers last couple of weeks, obviously from Germany. Hi, hope you're watching again. But we've also had some new people, obviously going on Facebook, liking the Facebook page. We've had some new followers, a couple of new followers on Instagram. We're growing as a community. Thanks for coming along. But yeah, it does get a bit more exciting than just watching me varnish one wheel after another after another. I can see more comments going in. Leslie says, they are looking very cool. The wheels, that is. Yeah, cool. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. There's just so many of them. It's going to look really, really nice when it's all put together, and it's just going to start seeing all the little bits bringing the character of the vehicle together now, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's been sat in component pieces for too long, but I've got so many other projects I like to dip between them all, as I said before. I've actually got a bit of thumb cramp now from the from the airbrush. Oh, got a bit of a spatter there. Let's just put a bit of air in there. There we go. Cool. 3 more. 3 more. So exciting. And then I will give the tracks a quick blast with it as well. For the same reason that Adrian was just saying that about his matte varnish. Put it on, just protect that bottom layer. Even though my bottom layers are actually 2 coats of enamel over an acrylic layer. Don't take the chance, right? And there we go, on to the final one. Maybe next time I'll do something like a bike. So just 2 wheels. Leslie says, how many wheels are there? Well, there's 3 sets of 8. I mean, do you want to count the double wheels as 2 wheels or 1 wheel? Because my light's quite hard to see. You can see that there are 2 wheels here side by side, but as 1 set. So 3 sets of 8. That's loads. And then there's the guide wheels and the drive wheels, so 28 at the least if you're counting them the double wheels as singles. Yeah, it's a lot, man. I think that the Tiger and King Tiger were more as well. Jeff says Sherman next time then. Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be. I think it's gonna have to be the Easy 8 version as well, because, well, the show is kind of what I named it after. So I think I will do one, yeah, but hopefully it's just going to be easier to do. I also just love painting in that colour. If you've ever painted with olive drab, like, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, go and paint with olive drab. It's a beautiful colour and it just does what you want it to. The first time, paint everything in olive drab, man. It's a beautiful colour to work with. Yeah, you're gonna like it. Right, pop that bad boy there. And then Chris the Wolf. Why am I calling you Chrissy? I read that and then another word came out of my mouth. I'm so sorry. Yep, still watching, just making some character art right now. Wonderful, nice. Thank you so very much for coming along. Yeah, it's lovely to know that I've got people all over the world who watch this and are watching it live as well. That really makes my day. We actually have viewers all the way from California and Washington State. Is it Washington State? So Seattle? Right over in the northwest of the US. We have viewers over there. I can't remember where it is now. I think it's Idaho. I've got over there as well. Right over to Sydney. So yeah, I consider it all-encompassing. If we can get someone in Hawaii, I think that would be brilliant. Oh, that would be completely around the globe. Leslie says, ha ha ha, so all of the wheels. Yeah, literally all of the wheels. Yeah. I said I was going to do the tracks, didn't I? Let's do the tracks, man. Let's do that. I've got no varnish, so let's just get a bit more in there. I'm just going to put a tiny bit in. I don't have to put as much in as I was using a minute ago. Oh, I've got a bubble. I'm sorry for everybody who had to witness that. It was like a snot bubble. About 5 or 6 drops in there perhaps, and I'll just do 1 drop of flow improver to 1 drop of airbrush thinner, because I don't think I need to make much of a mixture. To Chris the Wolf, if you are doing canvas art, I would absolutely love to see it. We do actually have a couple of canvas artists who watch the show, who have, I don't say I keep in regular contact with, but I watch them on like Facebook forums and things where they display their art a lot. Peter Angus is one of them. Hi Peter, if you're watching. Yeah, there's some phenomenal work out there. Like I say, this is a hobby show. It doesn't have to be just about miniatures. So yeah, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see what you're doing. I love anything that people can create and create with their own 2 hands. Even digital, it takes skill. Anything that's creative, I love it. So I would love to see. Right. Here we go. Oh, come on. You're blocking again, aren't you? Don't block, man. Don't block my nozzle. There we go. Realised that the white paper is actually making it quite difficult with the white balance there to see the colours or anything. So in a minute I will change away from a white piece of paper when I go back to some of my dirtier colours, so that hopefully you can see what it is I'm actually painting. Unless of course at your end you do see it fine, because that is something I notice that does happen. What I see doesn't reflect necessarily what you're able to see. Adrian says, nope, the Königstiger has less wheels, 22 in total, although 18 are doubled up. Okay, cool, but still less. let's just put you over there. We'll do the other track and then we'll flip them over and do the other sides, and then we can play around with some wheels and get them on the tank. Ah, really? I ran out. Maybe I do need a full hopper. Okay, cool. I'm sorry for the wait. Bear with me. Let's get that in there. A couple of drops of flow improver. Oh, oh, there we go. A drop of thinner. There we go. Okay. Mix it. Wonderful. Okay. Clean the needle. Oh, backwards and forwards, right? The trick is on the tracks here. I'm noticing is, and I've noticed with just painting the colours, is just making sure what you want you're applying goes into all the little divots. And I was actually painting these with brush, apart from the base colour, which was acrylic. It was that was quite an easy colour for it to go on, but all the other effects and things like that, yeah, took a little bit of patience, just making sure that the colours went where I wanted them to. And obviously this varnish here is being a bit tricky. On the other side, because there's less texture, less pattern, way easier to paint. I can see there's more comments going in. Leslie says, just to say, you're doing good, man. Thanks. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. The show for me is a wonderful way of making sure that I keep up with my hobby, and it's really important to make sure that you set here for your own mental health, which is obviously becoming a big focus and factor in the world. You know, is to make sure that you have time, you put time aside for the things that you enjoy doing. You know, whether it be making, sculpting, cooking, you know, whatever it is, painting on canvas like Chris the Wolf, making tanks, or you know, whatever it is. Make that time, and the show for me and Kyle has been a really good way of making sure that we're online and present and doing something. Obviously work gets in the way sometimes, poo-poo for work. But, you know, you gotta make a living. I actually absolutely love my job, so I actually try to not make it a hobby, but it's a job where I do all the sports that I enjoy doing outside of work. So I kind of, yeah, I merged the two. I'm living the dream. One of those lucky people, I suppose. Okay, now the other side of this track. Trank? Yeah, why not trank? Gonna make up a new word. So you may remember last week I was saying I came into a little bit of money. You know, I found a £5 note on the floor. I got a tax rebate. I got a tiny little pay rise. I said I was going to play the lottery. I played it, and I won. I got £30. Everyone should come and like touch my head or something for luck, in a COVID-safe way, of course. So please don't touch my head. I think I'm about to run out of varnish again. I'm going to try and make a thin layer as I go forwards now. Just enough. Wonderful. Brilliant. Right, I'm going to move this aside here, and I'm going to get rid of this piece of paper because it's quite glaring, and the auto white balance thingy goes mental. Right, I'm going to give the airbrush a quick rinse through. I don't want that resin stuff to set in there at all. So talk amongst yourselves. Why not? I'm going to put cleaner through there, I think. I'm going to put a bit of a 50-50 mix. A 50-50 water cleaner. Jeff says, do you think it would look nice on a flatbed rail car to display it? Yeah, I think it would do. I don't know. Oh, I don't actually have any cleaner water mix in there. Douchebag. I don't actually know very much about the German rail stuff. Obviously, they in World War II they were quite big on using what am I trying to say? Rail vehicles. They actually even started making rail artillery, didn't they? Very clever. The only real experience I've got with making anything on rails is obviously when you did a customer build with the German train station, and I painted up all the rail parts themselves, all the rails, all the sleepers, and the actual sort of gravel bits or whatever. That's the only experience I've really got, so I wouldn't know where to start. But I'm sure it'd be very easy to find reference. I should imagine it should probably just be painted Panzer grey or field grey. Which is a little bit harder to paint with, I found, the grey. I mean, I've done 2 models, I think. I did a Hanomag in 20mm and I did a Tiger in 28mm, which I think was the sort of the Russian front or Stalingrad sort of colours. And it was a little bit tougher to paint than the colours I'd painted previously, so I'd be interested to have another go at Panzer Grey actually. I've got the modulation set for it again. Okay, getting quite close to the point where we'd have a quick break, but I'm really looking forward to just getting some wheels on here. Now underneath here I have gone through and started painting the pin wash on all of the details etc down here, but I didn't really see an awful lot of need for it because it's all going to be hidden behind wheels and side skirts and grime, so I didn't really neaten it up. I did put some things in it. It has enhanced a little bit of the detail, but was there a need? Probably not, because I'm going to stick a load of grime in there, I think. I mean, I probably should. I'm not going to go like all the way up. I'm just probably going to put loads of grime in and around the axles, just big splodges of it, and then just kind of put a bit of white spirit and let it run in there. But first of all, I think we should go for a quick break so that you guys can have a rest from my voice and things. During the break, what I'm going to do, because I've got everything here that I need and I've got clean water, I might go get a little bit of water for my my airbrush, but I'm going to just see if I can start pulling all of the blue tack out of my wheels and things, so that then they are ready to be mounted on the tank itself. I might not get to the point where I'm ready to fix the tracks permanently into position tonight, because they still need to have those silver highlights put on them, and that's definitely going to be easier to do when they're off, but I'm fairly confident that I can at least make a start on getting the wheels fixed in place tonight. However, if I don't get that done on the show, you can of course come and join us over at Discord at the end of the session, because I say I'm going to be on for at least an hour or two this evening. I might have a little bite to eat, I might have a drink, you know. Come on over, let's have a little chat if you're into that as an idea. Yeah, and we can talk about all sorts of different things. But until then, have some jazz, go and change your paint water. You should definitely change your paint water, and I will see you in just a few minutes. Cheers. Welcome back. I hope you had a good break. I'm struggling. I'm struggling with bits of blue tack stuck inside wheels that I can't seem to get out, but we'll get there. I've got lots of different tools on the go, trying some twisty things now rather than pokey stabby things, trying to get the blue tack that I've used inside the wheel hubs to hold those little skewers in place. I recommend, if you're going to do that, perhaps do something different than blue tack. Maybe I've stuffed a bit too much blue tack inside, maybe it's just been on there for too long, but the sticks came out, but I've left a considerable amount of blue tack inside, which isn't the end of the world. It just makes it a bit of a faff. And of course I'm looking forward to just kind of getting stuck in and putting the wheels in place, but having that blue tack in there is going to cause a little bit of deformation when I'm trying to glue them in place, so it's going to actually affect how all the wheels line up. You don't want that. Basically, you don't want to have there to be all the wheels be out of line, so it might take a little bit of effort just to kind of get these going. Anyway, before we disappeared, some guys were throwing in some more comments, and that was Adrian said that the flatbed railway wagons would have been dark grey or black. See, I told you, I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to that sort of stuff, but that's really good to know. And he has got a photo of the wheel stages up on Facebook, so if you're interested, go and have a little look. I'm going to have a little look at that at the end of the show, and I'll go over to Discord and I'll let you know what I think. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I'm really excited to see what your tank wheels look like. So I'm going to take you over to the workbench here. Ooh, here we go. I've got all of these wheels. These are the interior wheels. These ones have all been cleaned out. These were easy because even though there was blue tack stuck inside, it all just kind of came out. I was able to just kind of poke it through from one side to the other because they're interior. Darned cat hair. Because they're on the interior, they go all the way onto the axle, and then the other wheels kind of go on top of them. Not an issue, right? These ones here are being a bit tougher because then they are enclosed on one side, so I don't know if you can see in here, probably not, but there is yeah, blue tack stuck inside. Adrian says use a blob of blue tack to get out the blue tack. Yeah, I've been trying that. That was my first thing that I tried, but it's in there with quite a bit of pressure, so I have to get this bit of blue tack in there quite tight. Try and pull it out. It does work. I've got this like pointy needle thing, which is a tool used to clean out certain parts of an airbrush. Don't really like using it very much in the airbrush, but it does have places where it is very handy to use. So I'm just trying to get right to the bottom in there and just kind of pick free where the blue tack's got hold of. I'm really concerned it's going to take me a long time to do, and I was really hoping just to kind of get wheels on the show tonight. One of those things. But what I have here, I've got a set of kind of like cleany wire things for the airbrush. These are really good because you can just kind of push them through various different diameters of twisted wire. They're a little bit bendy, so that's kind of cool. They do have sharp edges on the end, so they're not the best thing for airbrushes I have found. But the idea is that because they make a slightly bumped surface here, is that they go through and it agitates dried, paint or things like that. But because of these spiky little bits on the ends, I have been using it to my advantage to try and like twizzle the blue tack out. So I push it in, I kind of find where the blue tack is, and then I stab it in and I kind of twist it, and hopefully it works a bit like a drill. Now the way I've got blue tack at least before is actually using a drill bit, which I'm going to have a little look in my box underneath my bench here to see if I've got, because that might actually be what I need. I didn't expect this, to be fair. Aha, I do. I have my micro drills. Cool. I thought it was going to be pretty hard to find. I've got like a whole selection. Tool Zone, yeah, you get these on Amazon. A couple of quid. It's definitely worth it. And I'm just going to go straight to one of the bigger diameter drills here. I'm just probably going to go straight to the end one. I'm just going to see if I can tip that out. Come on now. Okay, I've actually got to be able to get the drill out. There we go, wonderful. And then, in the same way I was with the twizzly bit, just that this is going to be more defined on the end here. Let's just put that, and then kind of just twist it into the blue tack, and it should. It was biting then. Trying to get that out. Look at that. Look at that. That was satisfying. Still going to take a while. There's still a little bit in there. I suggest, if you're going to be using skewers for wheels, for painting your wheels, is maybe just stick a little bit of super glue on the end. I'm actually just digging into the plastic there, so I think maybe... Yeah, all of that blue tack looks like it's out. Just a tiny bit of residue at the bottom, which I'm not really fussed about. Can I scrape that out? No! Who cares? Right, let's move on. I'm going to do all those wheels as I go, but I just want to put some wheels on it because it's going to look so cool. So I'm just going to go here, maybe. Yeah, why not? So I'm going to get an interior wheel. The interior wheels go on like this. I don't know if this actually goes in this position here. That might be like a double wheel that goes there. Yeah, and then one of the exterior wheels goes over the top, but you can't put an exterior wheel right over the top over here because what you need to do is do all of the rear wheels one after, every other one. Sorry, but on the one in the middle you would put a double wheel, and then over the top you would put, come on, one of these. It's going to look so cool because I painted all the parts of it in different stages. There is a slight colour difference between the wheels to the top, but I did say that I was going to try my best to do camouflage on the top, so the wheels are going to stand out anyway. And I don't really mind the wheels standing out too much. They're going to be covered by, the most part, by side skirts anyway. There might be a nice little focus, break up the lines, whatever. I know I'm just making up excuses for not being the best painter in the world, but I think it's going to look really, really cool. So I don't know what order they go on, but just for now, I'm just going to pop them here. I do have the instructions beside me, but who cares? Who cares about instructions? Yeah. Here is another one where I got a little bit of blue tack stuck in there. So I'm just going to push this in and see if I can just scoop that out. Come on. Stop embarrassing me on my show. Oh, it's so satisfying when it comes out. So the poor choice that I made, as I said at the beginning of the show, was not the actual application, wasn't the actual product that I decided to use, it was my application of it. And that was, basically I've got a weathering powder. Where is it? It is here somewhere. Here it is. AK Interactive again, Europe Earth. I just bought this impulsively when I bought my first set of paints or whatever, but it's actually a colour that I wanted to use, not for like heavy dirt or anything like that, but just to soften up a lot of the details, and hopefully it would run in between like the links on the tracks and things, especially on here where you can see the individual links, and then in the bits of the treads. And I was just going to do some dust splashes and stuff up the side, just a tiny amount. Watched several tutorials and suggestions on how to do bits, and I was really looking forward to kind of getting stuck into it. And I did what I thought was the best thing. I mixed it with a little bit of water, because paint isn't just pigment and water, it's medium and water and pigment. It's the medium that makes it sticky and adhesive, and the water is just a medium for it in which to float around in and kind of, makes it runnier as such. So by adding pigment just to water, you should be able to remove most of it. It will stain a little bit by its very nature, and that's what I was kind of hoping for. What happened was I had just put a load of wet pigment all over the tracks, exactly how I want it to, and I think I just left it on too long. I left it on for quite some time. I think I might have left it on overnight. I can't remember. A lot has happened between now and the time I did that, and I think it was just too much. So when it came to rubbing it all off, it just wouldn't shift. It barely came off at all, and that was with a lot of hard work getting it to that stage. And I tried and I tried and I tried so many different techniques, and after a while I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stick it in paint stripper. So I stuck it in paint stripper and hoped that the plasticky rubber stuff that the tracks are made from wouldn't melt in the paint stripper. They didn't. Oh, I've got more coming out there, look. They didn't melt in there. They came out really well. and then I just repainted them again. So I just made sure that I had time in a day to get at least a couple of coats of the colours I wanted on. Yeah, it took some time to recover from it. So yeah, we make poor choices sometimes. It's always a good idea to have a test. I was considering doing a test on something. I didn't necessarily have a particular object to do a good test on. So I thought, you know what, this time I'm just going to be brave, I'm just going to go for it. So I did, and I don't think it worked very well for me. But, like I said earlier on, I had a silver lining in the fact that when I redid them, because I'd already worked out my my plan, my recipe for the colours that I wanted to use, I did it better the second time around. So all wasn't lost. In fact, I think I gained from the whole process. It's just a shame that it set me back the time, because at the time that I was doing that, I could have been obviously doing some of the stages that I'm doing now, and I'd be doing even more stuff on the show. But hey, you know, we make mistakes. It's important, I think, that in the matter what you're doing is that don't get dismayed or disheartened, demoralized even, by making mistakes. It's just to kind of roll with it, accept it for what it is, and just move on. It's very easy in this hobby to become quite disheartened, and then you step away from it, and then that's less time doing what you want to do and obviously finishing items. And the whole point of this show, of course, is to get through your backlog of miniatures or painting or whatever it is that you have to do. There's a little bit in there just does not want to come out. So, in short, I am going to go back to the same product. I'm going to apply it in a very, very different way. In the description to this video, there is another video linked right at the top called Genesis Models. I strongly urge you to go and have a look, because the guy, I don't know his name, I did try to find it, but the guy who does those videos is very good at what he does. And that I've basically linked, the second link is just to his channel directly, but the first link is to a specific video all about weathering pigments and how to use them, and he was doing Desert War Jeep in sand colours with dust effects over it, and the various different ways in which you can apply the pigment. He uses the exact pigment that I was using, so I say the exact pigment, I think it was a slightly different colour tone, but very, very similar, but it is the same brand, etc, etc. And basically you can apply it dry, you can apply it wet, and I'm going to go back to using it, but I'm going to do it in the dry way because I applied it wet. Have a little look at that video and all the other videos he's got there. He actually sells the models that he does on his episodes on his website, I believe. Head on over if you want to have a little look, if you've not used pigments before, or even if you have and you just kind of want to see how somebody else does it. Maybe you get some tips or whatever. He's really good, and he makes really, really quick videos. They're not over long, they're not pretentious or anything like that. Not that there are many pretentious videos out there, but you get my meaning. It's definitely worth heading on over and having a little look. I'm going to be watching some more of his stuff. I've got all of them done. Yeah, I'm going to be watching more of his videos. So hopefully, you know, I can learn more from him, and yeah, be better. It's really good. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Have a little look. Here's my instructions for my Panther. So many pages. What I need to do is work out what wheels go in what order. So I can see here that it starts with a double wheel. It does. Okay, cool. At the front. So actually what I've got here, even though I was just kind of playing around, is actually wrong. So it should be there, like that. And then there, like that. Oh, it's so exciting. And then you should go here. There are parts of these that aren't painted because the blue tack was over them, but they're going to be joined, so it doesn't really matter. And then you're going to go here like that, and then oh, I did say that was going to be a red one, didn't I? Let's lift that one off. Come on now. I'm not gluing these in place right now, obviously. Okay, cool. And then I go to a double leafed wheel here. All my colours are so different. I might put them at the end, where it might look a little bit better. So yeah, you're going to go on here. I can't see. Come on now. There we go. Oh, it's looking so cool. Just look at this. Oh my god. And then I want a red double wheel here. Yes. And then I need my over the top wheels. I've only got one on the side here now. So I just pop him here like that. Look how many wheels. Look at all of those. That's so awesome. Right. You stay there. Because now I need 1, 2, 3. And one of them is a red one, isn't it? It is. Okay, cool. Here's these ones. Just pop these little bits of stick off and blue tack and whatever in there. Yeah. Buy sticks. Any blue tack in there? There isn't. So you could just kind of go straight on here. And then, has this one got any blue tack in it? It hasn't. Oh my gosh. And then you can go there. This one does have a bit of blue tack in. Come on now. So fiddly. Oh goodness me. For goodness sake. There we go. There's a tiny bit in there. Scoop. Wonderful. Right. There. Perfect. Loving it. Leslie says, man, that looks epic. Thank you so much. The definition actually of all the pin wash really stands out quite striking on the screen there. I hope you can really kind of get a taste for that. Sort of the detail and whatever. It really makes you look like you're really good if you're not, like I am. Of course, I'm missing 2 other wheels. So I've got a dry wheel right here. Oh, that's really stuck in there. There's loads of blue tack crammed in there, and of course I've got my the little jockey wheel at the back. So I might need to take all these off to kind of get them all in line, or at least this top leaf wheel here for this little wheel there. Yes. Now I've got loads of crammed in blue tack. So let's see if I can get this stuff out. So inside the guide wheel at the back and inside these drive wheels or sprockets, if you want to call them that, it's basically like a little, what is known as a poly cap. It's a little black cylinder that is glued, sorry, it isn't glued in place, it's just inside and held in place when you put the 2 halves of this wheel together. The idea is that when you put glue on the little axle over here, it sticks only to the poly cap and you're allowed to freely spin this wheel around. But that has meant that there is a larger internal surface, or area, sorry, internal area for blue tack to be sitting. So it's just going to take a bit more effort. Oh, it's like unplugging an ear. Oh, the earwax. I'm sorry, I just realised that there are people obviously watching the show, and that's probably quite gross. Jeff says, it's nice to see it come together after a ton of work in it. Yeah. I'm beside myself with how much time I spent on this. It shouldn't have been anywhere near the amount of time, but I very deliberately decided at the beginning of this project that I was going to take my time and just probably take even longer than I needed to, just so I could learn and make sure that I got it right. So yeah, this one goes on here. Yep, I'm going to take them all off again. Well, at least the middle one here, just so I can fit him in. Come on, there we go. Now let's put those in together at the same time. Yes. Because there's blue tack in there, it's a little bit stiff, but I don't really care about that. And there we go. That's all the wheels on one side. Obviously they need to be glued in place, and like I said earlier on, I need to make sure that all the shadow bits and whatever are all in place properly. So yeah. But that's looking really good. And then of course I'm going to have the tracks. So these don't necessarily need to move. None of it really needs to move to help me get it in there. I could just kind of pour them in place. I have this little joiny bit. Oh, I have this little joiny bit here, which basically I put them together, I glue it in place, and there's lots of little pins, and you can see the little holes. I hope that you can see the holes there, and they join up these little bubbles It's really, really simple. The trick is going to be, of course, is making sure that there's enough glue that it doesn't like separate or anything like that, because it's actually right in the middle of a track, so it should be well hidden. So I don't know how, should I just basically, if I lift him back up again, should I, just kind of put them over the top and then do the little little bits underneath, so it just kind of sits underneath? I think that'll be fine, right? Because no matter where I'll put it, whatever. Jeff says, pop the turret on. Okay, cool. Give me a second. Let's see. Can I just get him in place? This is the first time I've actually put this in place. I'm definitely going to have to rotate that in there, I think, because all those teeth, look, are biting onto the wheels, just like they're supposed to. Oh, hello, hello. It's going in place. No, it's this wheel here is really stopping it from getting in. So I'm going to have to feed it on, and then I'm going to have to rotate the wheel in order to get that in. It does look like it's been blown off though, doesn't it? Come on, get out, get out. Get out, Trax, you don't know what you're doing. Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, I'm just going to rest him down. No, we want him here so that we can see the turret. Here's the turret. But I still got all the tools and things to put all over him, but that was something that's going to happen right at the end. That shouldn't take me much more than the day. There we go. It's a beast, isn't it? I'm so excited. I'm so happy with it. It's such a beautiful model. I really haven't had this much fun making a model before, and I could have done it in a fraction of the time, but like I said, I just wanted to make sure that I was giving myself the time to make sure that I got it right. There's still a lot of work to do on it yet, but it's all going to start accelerating now. So obviously, you can see here with the wheels, when I get the side skirts out here, how much is actually going to be hidden here. So, I mean, I know the wheels aren't really hidden all that much, but where the track goes in there, yeah, it's quite a bit that's hidden, isn't it? So, like, obviously with the drive wheel here, the tops of the wheels, yeah, it's really coming on. Like, seeing it like that now on the screen, I'm in a happy place right now. But like I say, still loads of work to do. I could sit here and obviously fiddle by trying to get the track in place, but ultimately it's got to come off. Right, so what do? Do I just kind of carry on? I think I should probably just kind of carry on, get all these wheels tidied up, and then I'm probably going to start doing a little bit of grime. Do I need to do much grime? Do I though? That's the thing. If I put this here, are we actually going to see in behind? Let me point with this pointy thing that I've got here. I'll point with one of these sticks, why not? Come on, stick, here we go. So obviously you can just see little bits of detail in behind there, but if I put this over the top, boop, it's completely gone. So what do you think? Should I spend the time putting grime? That rhymes. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Should I? Actually, I'm not going to go any further until someone tells me what to do. There's so many things to think about. I don't want to get to a point where I've built it and then I can see some hidden area that actually you can see quite clearly or stands out because it wasn't painted properly. That would be a blow. There's always a way around it though, right? You can always like get an airbrush and kind of blow something inside or whatever, or get that really long thin brush and kind of poke it in somewhere or whatever. But yeah, I want to make sure that I'm doing it as well as I can. That little piece of polystyrene floating around my studio here, let's get rid of that. So yeah, it's nice. I like this at the back. I like the red bit here. It looks like that something's kind of come in, maybe from if I push it a bit further forwards. Here you go. It looks like something's kind of come in at a sort of an angle from over here and then kind of gone in, blown this bit off, maybe damaged all the wheels. Oh no, we have to repair this bit. Yeah, I was just kind of making up that little narrative for it as I went along, and yeah, I like it. It's really cool. This is a really nice color that I think blends in really well, probably because the tone of this is all very warm colors. This has got lots of orange and browns, which are all warm colors, but I think that just generally the you know, it doesn't overly stand out, but it's its own thing at the same time. Does that make sense? Am I just talking complete bonkers now? I'm just excited, clearly. Anyway, while you guys are hopefully typing. Oh, here we go. Nope, unless you want to learn how to do it for the next one. No, I already know what to do with the grime. I've done, oh excuse me, my T's repeating. I've done a lot of grime before with the 28mm models, actually for the display models that you've got in your studio, in your workshop, sorry. So I know what I'm doing with that. I've no need to faff, basically. So okay, do you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put grime in there. If I have to at the end of it, then I'm sure I can kind of just drop it in from a distance. Leslie says, all I can say is that your work has paid off, my friend. Thank you very much. That's really kind of you to say. I'm really excited. Jeff also says, don't matter if you mess it up because you can't see it. Yeah, cool. I'm not going to do it. It's fine. There's a little bit of blue tack left in there. I'm just going to, in that wheel, push all that out. Get out. That's my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. Because if I haven't offended enough people with my accents, I thought I'd throw in another one. I humbly apologise. These drills are actually really good at removing this blue tack. Yeah, maybe do use blue tack at home and get a drill. Right, just got the last few wheels here. I'm just going to clean these up because I really want to get rid of this big block of polystyrene because it's rubbish. I could definitely do something better to porcupine up. And I want the wheels all cleaned and I want all the sticks gone away. You know what it's like when you just want to move on with your life. Let's polystyrene. I feel good about myself. Okay, cool. Yeah, another chapter in my model life. Let's just get this little bit of blue tack out here. Come on. Don't let me down. There we go. Lovely. It's a lot of blue tack in the end when you consider that's all just from the wheels. Well, that looks like it's just coming away. Lovely. Oh, is that all of them? Oh no. I still got a couple over there as well. Brilliant. Yeah, I can see more comments going in. Jeff says, hang on, you said you were going to cut a section of the plate out. Yeah, the skirt plates they're going to go on much later after I've done all the tracks and everything like that. So yes, I had kind of earlier on decided which ones I was going to cut out. I think I was going to cut out just one from this side that we were looking at, maybe like this one here or something, and on the other side I was going to cut like the end off or something. So I had planned which ones I was going to do. I may or may not still do it. I've got a little micro saw which will make very quick and very precise work of that, and obviously where I make the cuts I'll have to quickly neaten it up with a little bit of paint on the end. Easy peasy. But at this stage I don't need to worry about it. It's not, there's nothing going to be going on. These aren't going on like in the next few days. So yeah, I am aware of that. Thank you very much for the reminder though. Those go over there. This is important to not get these mixed up. Not overly important. That's really stuck in there. Oh my god, that's really stuck. Oh, okay, there we go. Cool. Right, and then there's the last guide wheel here. Brilliant. Oh, that all came out in one go. Fabulous. Right. Oh, all the sticks are all gone. Yes. Brilliant. Blue tack can do one. See ya. And I've got my little drill job. Just pop there for now because I might need that again in a minute. Right, so yeah, all my wheels are done. I'm not going to grime up under there. I'm going to grime the wheels a little bit, but I'm going to glue all the wheels in place first. I don't have to worry about griming the wheels before they go in, because as you can see here, I've got the turret's just flapping around there in the background. As you can see, if I just put my hand on top in case they stop moving around, I've got very clear access to all the undersides of the wheels and things, so I can just spray or drop that grime color in there, and then it's just a case of getting a nice brush, a nice soft brush with a bit of white spirit or thinner, and then you basically just wipe it across there. And I will do grime as a part of the show, probably next week, to show you how that as a process is done. But yeah, it's going to be very, very easy to do. And obviously on the inside it's going to be grimier because it's, you know, where stuff would build up more. On the outside, just general water passing, puddles, whatever would probably make it cleaner. Sorry. So yeah, I don't have to worry about it so much. It's going to be very, very easy to do. It's all coming on. I'm very excited. Right. Okay. I don't want all the wheels to all fall off this one, so I'm just trying to consider where I'm going to put the tank for now. Let me just have a little tidy up here. Let's move these colours under there. Let's get this over here. Right. Stay there, please. Thank you very much. Okay. Wonderful. Tank tracks then. So, I'm going to do all the silver work on these before I do this. Pigment, I do recommend it just because I had a bad time with it on that one occasion. Doesn't mean that you're going to. There are lots of different ways you can speckle with it. You can just dust it on, you can pour it on, you can seal it in with whatever varnish you want. You can get pigment fixer, which is just like another sort of solution. You can just put it through the airbrush, you can spray it on, you can drop it on with a brush. I didn't have much luck dropping it on with a brush. But yeah, I'm still going to do this. I'm just basically, once I've got all the silver work done on these tracks, I'm just basically going to dry, brush it on, and then I'm going to get a nice brush and I'm going to wipe most of it away. You can use your finger to wipe a lot of it away as well, just so it builds up in just some areas, and it will just break it all up, and hopefully it'll run into like all the cracks and whatever. And then when the tank is done, I can just kind of do some soft patches of dust on it, just to make it look like that it's got dirt, just a very small amount of it. I'm trying to make it quite a clean tank-ish. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm probably going to, I'm so divided. I can either do the silver work on here, which will take forever, or I can start gluing on these. Do you know, I have done so much painting on this show. I'm going to start doing some gluing. I'm going to start gluing these on. I'm going to do it. Let's glue these bad boys into place. Let's take this turret off. That's some very preppy music there for being excited. So let's take all these top ones off. I think also a good portion of lining all these wheels up and getting them all glued into place is going to be choosing the right colours, because obviously some of them have come out in different ways because of the way that I've painted them and, you know, how much paint I've applied. So yeah, it's going to be like choosing which one I want to go on in the right place. Okay. These all off here, but they look pretty good like that. There are some that stand out, like for example, here's a wheel that's a lot paler than all the others. It stands out. It's almost a totally different colour, isn't it? Yeah, whatever, who cares. So first things first, we need to let's get rid of that cat hair, thank you. First things first is I need to get the bottom ones, the interior wheels, in place. So we know that one's going to go there, we know that one's going to go there. These can just kind of move over here for a minute. Here's the other two, and basically what's going to happen is I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the axle, glue them in place, and Luke says, "Now Easy 8 Gluing Club." You're damn straight, sir. I'll do what I want, it's my show. I'm going to glue them in place, and then when the next wheel goes on top, I'll put a little bit of glue on here as well, so the actual two sides of the wheels glue together like this, and then the double wheels will be glued in between, and then they'll be glued to the actual axle shaft itself. Just adds all that extra strength to it. So yes, but I need to work out where the highlight is. I can see on one side is brighter, while the other side is darker, and that is how I've airbrushed them. So this one's going to go on like this, and then yeah, I'm basically just going to work my way through them. This is probably going to take me a considerable period of time, so I'd like to take this opportunity to apologise for how long it is going to take while you sit there and watch me. But of course you are doing your own things at the same time, so it doesn't really matter, right? So I suppose I need some glue. I'll be right back. Down here where I have all my extra model supplies, I've got a big box of everything.
I've got super glue, I've got poly cement, and I think I definitely need to use poly cement. I think it's definitely going to be the way forwards. There it is, there, right at the bottom of the box. Of course, it's never going to be on the top, is it? Cool. I could use super glue for that quick no nonsense application, but yeah, all I've got to do is just quickly run a little blade over here, make sure there's no paint on them, so that I've got plastic to plastic contact. Easy. Yeah. Just like that. That's all it needs. And I'll make sure that I get a nice brush here, just for obviously where I'm scraping surfaces. Don't want there to be little bits of, you know, debris or anything. There we are. Cool. If I was really fastidious when I started making it, of course I could have just covered these ends with little bits of tape or whatever. Is it a faff to do that now, or is it a faff to scrape everyone down? You know, I could be here forever thinking about it, right? The insides of these little hubs are paint free, so because I've obviously had a stick in there and a bit of blue tack, so there's nothing to worry about the contact there. Oh, that is tight like the tiger. Right. Sometimes this stuff does go everywhere. It's not. I've had this tube of glue for years. Absolute years. Oh my gosh, it's coming out really fast. I just need a tiny little dollop. Just here and here. There we go. Brilliant. And it's just making sure that when I put it on, it doesn't go everywhere. Make sure I got the highlight in the right place. Here we go. Oh, it's so satisfying. The first glued wheel. Very, very happy. Making sure that I've got no glue on my fingers. I just wiped a little bit of excess away with my fingertip. I don't want to obviously be touching it and then, you know, affecting it, even though it has been sealed. You see, I put probably a bit too much glue on there because it has bunch, you know, it's like a little bit of overspill there. I will grind that up later, so it'll be fine. Cool. So now I just need to go along and do that on every single. Yeah, so going here, here, and here. Is that right? Let's make sure I've got it right. Yes, that's right. Here's the picture. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's lovely. No, I've got it wrong. That's a double interleaf wheel here, so that's the pair, so I need to take that one off. That's fine. Do it now before it sticks. Brilliant. Okay, cool. Don't be like me, be good at what you do. Just put wrong wheel. Lucky I didn't use super glue, because that would have been instant, wouldn't it? It would have been an absolute travesty. What it is now that I'm excited, you see. Thanks guys, thanks for looking after me. So I'll do that one and I'll mark them out now. I should probably just do them all, shouldn't I? Who cares? Dusty bits, dusty bits. That's so exciting. Just nicked the edge of the actual arm here, but again, I'm going to come over with a with grime effects and dirt and stuff later on, so it shouldn't show up. Should be able to cover it, and also it's right underneath the tank, so who cares? If I thought ahead, I could have actually got some sandpaper on this. That would I could have just scuffed it along, but you know, because of the tragic news and stuff earlier on, I didn't really plan the show out. And normally, like, I set the schedule and I go, oh, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk about this earlier on in the week. But then, just before the show starts, I kind of get everything together because I think about what it is I'm actually doing. Today that didn't happen, so I apologise. It's all a little bit ad hoc. Leslie says, I must say, I go against the grain. I always read the instructions, then decide to glue something on backwards or upside down for deliberate comic effects. Jess says, calm down. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to be deliberately putting bits on for comic effects on this one, but I appreciate it all the same, and you're right, Dad, I should calm down. If it was super glue, that yeah, I would have been pulling that off. I'll wait for that little bit. There's a little bit of tacky glue on there. It should dry very, very quickly, and I'll just come over again with the knife and just be able to scrape that off. You won't even notice. Perfect crime. Perfect crime. This is actually quite satisfying. Scraping off all that hard work that I did so many months ago now. And then of course, there's the guide wheel here. Get a bit more round. There we go, and then obviously the front, the drive. Oh, again, sniffles, I apologise. Oh, Joe, I get a bit of an achy back from sitting in the same position or leaning over. It's one of the reasons why I make sure that there's an intermission is not just is it just good for your eyes to come away from what it is that you're doing, but also just so you can get up and move around. 2 hours is a long time. I've got friends who watch the show, and I said, do you watch it every week, or do you watch the whole thing? They're like, no, dude, it's like 2 hours. Some people don't have that kind of patience. I personally do, and I know that you guys all do because you watch it with me every week. And there's obviously others that that don't say much and whatever who do watch, but some people are just like, no, I just can't do it. You should make sure that you have time. Give yourself the time to stand up, stretch your legs, and focus your eyes is really important. Otherwise, you just get chronic backaches. A bit of dust just sitting there that won't move. Okay, cool. So let's try this again, shall we? I'll try a different wheel because that one's probably got glue in it. Oh, do you know what? I'll just give it a scrape. I'll be fine. Right, let's try that again. Not too much. way less than you ever think you need. The poly cement is so effective, just the tiniest dab. Now, when I was actually building the whole tank, I was just using a tiny cocktail stick and just took a tiny little drop on there. It came out quite fast and uncontrollable. So there's quite a blob on here. So I'm just gonna remove it with this stick, spread it around a little bit. It doesn't all need to be on there. Too much. Okay, let's get him back on. There we go. One. I'm well happy. I'm well happy. So, yeah, gonna move all the way along now, I suppose. Here is the next one. Some of them, because I'm not a very good painter, some of these wheels have a much more defined sort of shadow effect than others. This one here is really hard to see. This one here, for example, much brighter on one side, much darker on the other. So some of them, I just wasn't very good when I was learning how to control like the flow of paint coming out the airbrush and whatnot. It was much harder for me to at that stage. But you know, if I get this other airbrush that I was talking about earlier on, it might benefit me. I might be able to actually control the flow rate, etc. Oh, it will actually. There's no might be about it. It definitely will. Two wheels. Yeah, two wheels. Got another one. Make sure I get the right highlight on this one. You can see that there's, I don't know if you guys can actually see it on the camera, but this side here is much more highlighted than this side, which is shadow. So the idea was to have, even though there would just be constant shadow underneath, it's just about, you know, this false representation just makes it look a little bit more interesting as a model, as something to look at. I could have just painted all one flat colour and it would have been very realistic, but you know, I like to play around with the modulation and yeah, practice rendering and pre-shading and stuff. It's just a fun thing to do. If you haven't had a go with pre-shading or modulation sets, do it. It's great. Yeah. Now I just need to make sure that I get the right side skirts, because where I was lining them up earlier on could have been wrong. So I just need to check my numbers. 28 goes on that side. That is 28. Ah, so I had the wrong one earlier. Okay, so the red one goes on the other side. Is that right? So, okay, that's fine. So that's the front of the tank. That's the front of the tank. 28. 28. So the red one doesn't go here. 54 goes on the other side, so I put red at the front. So it's going to be like it closer to the front there. That's cool. Or perhaps I was going to just have that one as red at the front and then have these wheels at the back here, and then just have one missing at the back. Oh, I don't know. Is that what I've planned? What do you think? Should I have all the red bits together? So the red side skirt and the red wheels. Obviously now this is going to be on the other side at the front. So I could have, yeah, the wheels and the side skirt, make it like it was all one damaged area. Or should I have like wheels on this side and a red plate at the front to break it all up? What do you think? Thinking about it now, that was my intention, was to have like red bits in various areas, and I think I was just going to have like a missing side skirt panel here where the red wheels are. Decisions. interested to see what you think. Anyway, we are at the end of the show, so I'm going to come away from the workbench now. Here we go. Yeah. Let me know what you think. If you're typing right now, obviously I'll see it before the end of the show. If you don't, it will still come up. I'll still get to see your opinion. Or you can come and join me over on Discord. I'm gonna go get a fresh drink. I'm gonna get an adult drink because I'm a grown up and I can do that. And I'm just gonna be here for the next hour at the very least. Gonna probably be here for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Probably just gluing wheels and things, maybe getting started on the tracks or whatever. Yeah, so if you want to come and join me, have a little bit of input into some of the building of this tank, talk about your own, for example, then you can, and you're more than welcome to. I want you to. Please do. Jeff says if you have a plate missing, you'll have to grind behind it. Oh yeah, good point. Hadn't thought that. I can still grind behind there. That's not going to be an issue. Maybe I shouldn't cut side skirts out. So should I keep the red bits all together? So I've got the red side skirt and all the red wheels. Shall I make it look like that they're all together? Is that? Do you think? I think it would look quite cool. It would look like a cluster area, wouldn't it? Okay. Anyway, it's the end of the show. Thank you very much for coming along. I'm having an absolute blast. I always have a blast. I just like making stuff. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for talking in the live chat and being a chatty bunch again. Hello to all the new viewers and subscribers, likers and followers across all of our platforms. Welcome to the show. I hope you come back for more. I hope you get a lot out of it. Tell me if you do. Tell me if you don't. Tell me how I can improve it. Bring a friend. Like, follow, and of course subscribe to the channel, because every little bit really helps me and it motivates me to want to do more, to see that subscribe number going up. So please do consider doing that if you haven't. Jeff says yes. Okay, do you know what, I'm going to put all the red bits together and I won't cut any of it out, and I'll just build it together because of reasons. Sure. Yeah, thank you very much for being with me this evening. Like I said, today has been a bit emotional, not just for me but for other people out there who also know Freddy the cat. I'm going to miss him intensely. I've no issue in having emotions on my live broadcast, so thank you for bearing with me at the beginning. I was quite upset. Yeah, and of course I'll dedicate this evening to the memory of my little friend. So yeah, thank you for being with me this evening. It's helped me distract myself, and the show has to go on anyway. Until next week, thank you very much for coming along. My name's Danny. You've been fantastic. Stay safe, stay kind, and keep on painting, and I'll see you next week. Take care now. Cheers. Bye bye.